And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 130 of the Chat with Gunner podcast, CWG podcast. Man, what a wild ride it has been. We got some content out. Ethan clipped up some stuff a couple days ago. We got some stuff out from the TikTok that we pulled from the Freight Waves podcast with the guys from Walk the Truck. That was a great episode. Bunch of positive feedback from that on LinkedIn. Just wanted to go through a little bit. I've been listening back a little bit to the Apple podcast. I just pulled up, our page, and now they're coming out like once a day. I just kind of been listening to it because I get notifications because I'm a loyal subscriber to myself. But yeah, I've been listening to them, and they're they come off pretty good. For an audio podcast, I think that it might even come off better as an audio podcast. I mean, I know that we have the YouTube and stuff, but the stuff that's kind of picking off right now on the YouTube is the YouTube Shorts. I mean, it seems like every fifth YouTube short I post gets somewhere around 1,000 views-ish.
Yeah.
Something like that. If you look up the YouTube analytics, our past 28 days prior to these 28 days was up like 300% on everything. And now even these past 28 days from the prior good 28 days is up again. Our subscriber count, I believe, is hit the 2170 mark. So it's going up slowly but surely. And I believe that these are people that are actually sticking around and watching these videos a little bit long form because our average duration is increasing as well. So you're looking at every time somebody clicks on a video, they're watching it for about 10 minutes. So, I think that that's good stuff. So what I might try to do now, since the average listener is listening for about 10 minutes, is when we do these shorter podcasts, maybe try to keep it around that 20-minute mark-ish for solo episodes, catch up, get in, get out, talk a little entertainment, because we got a little bit of entertainment to talk about, and we got a little bit of life to talk about, and we got some clips to make out of this, because that's what and listen, if you're not just listening to this and you're watching the show, I'm about to go into a Hawaiian shirt theme, a Polynesian shirt thing, a Samoan shirt thing. So they had these at Target, but then I started researching the Aloha shirt.
Uh-huh.
So the original Aloha shirt is a company that starts with a K. I don't want to mispronounce it because, my people. So it starts with a K. I don't want to mispronounce it, but it was created in 1936 in Hawaii. And it was the first fabric that was coming over from Hawaii that was labeled on there, made in Hawaii. So it was a big deal. So they still have those shirts, and those shirts are like, dude, they're like $180.
Kahala?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like $180 for the collector editions, but it's like the old school, original 1930s, 40s, 50s Aloha shirt.
I would 100% wear all of these.
So you know how I get like I had my style. Listen, in life we have seasons.
Is it your summer season?
Yeah. Well, it's not just a summer season. I'm saying like maybe, it's not seasons based on, what the weather is and what the actual season of the year is. But when I say season, I'm talking about a phase in life. So, for example, Ethan, I would call, my first season ever like the season of not remembering. So maybe that's 0 to 7 years old. And then season number 2 is developing gunner, and that's 7 through middle school. And then it's, super determined, trying to get signed to a Division I college and play professional ball version of me, which kind of carries over from high school to college. And then, there's the logistics and pro wrestling season, and then there's the relationship season, then there's the jumbling it all together to where like here I am now. So now within those years and seasons, I think that you have like quarters of those seasons. So think of it that way. And I'm always going to take this in a sports theme, so just stick with me. And I had 0 of this planned, by the way. So this is what happens when we get in here and start talking. So quarters to it. So like at one phase, my uniform was I was wearing a suit every day. It was a little bit cooler outside, very manageable for a suit. I probably started wearing it around, October, maybe a little bit before that. Maybe it was, probably around October, and then wore it through about February. And then it started to get a little hot. So when spring got around here, it was, time to put the shorts on, time to throw the polos on. And now I think I found my vibe. This is the most comfortable shirt. Like it's light, it's loose, it kind of drapes on you. So like I wear it, the shirt doesn't wear me.
Absolutely.
And I absolutely most of my shirts always they're tight through here but tight in the arms, but also because I don't like extra larges and I don't like how larges fit. Like I'm in between almost.
Yeah.
So they always fit weird. But this one, an extra large, isn't too baggy. It's like the perfect vibe and fits tight enough on the arms to where I'm pleased. So Target, you did a fantastic job on this $19 Hawaiian.
$19, that's it?
$19, yeah, man. $19.
I need to go to Target.
So, yeah, man. But I'm feeling good, Ethan. You know how I get. 75 hard.
Yeah.
What's the day?
It's the 30th.
I know. So what day am I on?
I don't know.
I'm on day 18.
Whew.
18 of a clean diet, no alcohol, 2 workouts a day, reading 10 pages of a book, and drinking a gallon of water. I've had 0 fast food. I've had 0 calories from drinks. I'm almost dairy free for the most part, which is huge for me. My walks are usually in the evening. Like 95% of my walks have been in the evening, and or at lunchtime, and they're 45 minutes. I walk right at 2.1 to 2.3 miles. And, I've been doing, now it's 18 days I've been doing that. And my workouts have been, I'm going to old school, golden era, 1970s bodybuilding style workouts, kicking it old school. The day 1 is chest and back, high volume. Day 2 is shoulders, arms, high volume. Day 3 is legs, high volume. And then we just repeat. We're on a 3-day split, and we're only taking it 3 days at a time. I'm not doing this 7-day, I'm working out 5 of them. Bull crap. I'm doing 75 days of that rotation. So that's a bunch of workouts.
Yeah.
That's me hitting each body part 10 times.
Good Lord.
Within 75 days. If you think about it like that, that's, wait a minute. No, it's more than that. What would 75 divided by 3 be?
75 divided by 3 is 25.
So I'm hitting each body part 25 times.
Good Lord.
25 times in 75 days. If you work out the traditional way, the way I've been working out for the past, I don't know, several years, where I do chest, back, arms, and you do that once a week, that's 52 workouts in a year. So in about 10 weeks, knocking out 25 workouts. Supping up a little bit of supplements. I think the water is huge. So what's crazy, I started at 217 day 1. I am 220.2 right now. And all I'm eating is chicken and rice or chicken and tortillas, the occasional egg, some Quest bars, a couple protein shakes. I mean, I'm not even eating that much, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that sounds like nothing.
Yeah, for me, I mean, and I've always been the guy that was I'm either eliminating carbs to shred, and I'm going keto or all protein or whatever. I've never been a guy that thought I could shred by having carbs. So now I'm going super high protein. And when I say super high, I'm just saying a little over a gram per pound of body weight. Mm-hmm. So a little over 220 grams of protein. And then I'm going the same amount in carbs and 50 grams of fats. So if that. So not that much at all. And I'm feeling pretty good right now, Ethan. That's why I'm talking about it. I haven't been feeling my fitness here recently. I'm feeling it right now. I'm in the zone. I got my membership back to Gold's Gym.
Oh, yeah?
We got the family membership so that we could take Marcus with us and send him to the kids club while we work out. I figured that might be smart. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I've been there now for the past 3 days in the mornings, and the environment is much different than the sports barn. 4 old men and me in the sports barn. 4 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock in the morning, Gold Gym. It is 25 guys, very high testosterone. It's like, I don't see any of these guys walking around Chattanooga, right? I hardly. It's rare to see people just like much bigger than me.
Yeah.
Not fatter, or I'm sorry, obese or whatever. But I'm talking about just like super much more muscular than me. Kind of, 220 pounds, you're usually all right.
You're right about that.
Well, there's some guys in there that are not 220 pounds. They're like, I don't know, 260, 280 jacked.
Jeez.
I mean, these are some guys that
Big
been
boys.
putting in some work. But you know what? It's motivating. It's inspiring. I'm a firm believer of mind power and knowing that if, like, you don't even have to work out with them, but if people are physically better than you in the same gym as you, and you're working out near them, pushing yourself more than you would because maybe that person's there, it's going to make you bigger than than you normally would be. So you don't even have to have a workout partner at a place like Gold's. You just got to kind of get there, look at the environment, and be like, all right, there's a hierarchy in the gym. Your boy's been up the top many times in his life, and it's time to go back to the top. 'Cause I'm tired of it. I've been there 3 days. I'm over it. So the way I do that is the way I do things best. Build my squat back up. Yeah, I know. I said I'm not squatting heavy anymore. I'm getting too old. Knees, blah, blah. Well, that's the way I stand out, Ethan. All right? I was blessed with strength in my legs, and most people hate leg day. So I'm going to do 2 leg workouts a week or every other 3 days until I'm back up there in the 5s, repping squats and tearing pants and making these shorts look a lot better than they do now. Then we'll have to get rid of this black desk and just let this be a full body visual for the podcast.
Good Lord.
Yep. We'll have to change up the... I guess in theory we could change up the area, couldn't we?
Oh, 100%.
So how hard would it be to do this podcast over there?
Not difficult.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, come to think of it, I can show them. Hey,
so...
this is what the podcast room looks like.
But even with not that camera...
Well, no. We wouldn't use that camera. But what I'm saying is...
Is there a microphone over there?
We would have to put one over there.
That's what we need. We need a spot over there, like the corner spot.
Yeah.
And then that could be like just another section where you just knock out some videos real quick.
100%.
Where you don't need a green screen or whatever.
100%.
I think. And then that whole wall that's empty right there needs shit on it.
100%.
Like maybe all the podcasts that run out of the studio.
Yeah. I don't see why
That'd
not.
be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would invest in a neon Chat with Gunner sign for that. I promise you. I promise you.
I have. I'm not
would.
gonna lie to you. Your birthday this past year, I was looking at one.
Yeah.
They're kind of expensive.
Yeah, they're like $350.
For me.
Yeah. Fuck. I mean, anybody. I mean, anything over $100 is expensive. Anything over $25 is expensive.
Well, I was looking
gas
at,
is $5. Anything over $5 is expensive
Yes.
right now.
I was looking at like getting the blue and the gold instead of just one color.
Oh yeah.
And that jacked up the price.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
You know what's also cool? Those the billiard lights. You can get those custom made. Those
the
glass lit.
Ooh,
Yeah.
like at the old Pizza Huts.
Yes, but not Pizza Hut. Chat with Gunner.
Chat with Gunner.
Yeah, and they have some too that you can buy that are scoreboards. So
Yeah.
like it's a scoreboard that goes over a pool table that has miniature TVs on top, like at a big game.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool too. So yeah, 75 hard. We talked a little bit about, what did we just talk about for 15 minutes?
You working out?
Oh, 75 hard. Yeah, absolutely. Fired. I can say, man, sometimes that stuff just jacks me up, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Got my Hawaiian shirt on, feeling Polynesian right now. Just working out.
Listen, I'm just glad that you've joined in on the Hawaiian shirt thing.
Yeah,
because I have quite a few.
Know. I'm here to listen. That is the new dress code.
Yeah.
Dress code on Thursdays is Hawaiian shirts.
Absolutely.
So that's moving forward. That's standard issue. And I'll wear this one until I get another, either floral or Hawaiian.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing. I've always been a big fan, and I look terrible today. I've always been a big fan of Hawaiian shirts. However, floral on me doesn't look good. I don't like it.
Huh.
However, There is that one blue Hawaiian shirt that I have. I also have a teal one that has the same thing on it. Do you know what that is?
No.
Flamingos. For some reason, everyone loves my flamingo shirt, and I have no idea
Did you
why.
get it from Target?
I think it's an Old Navy one.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
I just got one yesterday. That's when you see it, it's like teal. It's like Miami Dolphin type of color.
Oh yeah.
And then pink flamingos.
Nice. So the one I always wear, the one I feel the best in, is like a dark royal blue with blue flamingos on it, and everyone like I can go someplace and somebody will be like, "Nice flamingos, man." You always,
that's your shirt.
Pump
That's
up
your shirt
my.
then. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I also have another one that's basically what my color is on the screen. It's like a very, very bright neon green, like a teal, I would almost say, with small flamingos on it, pink ones. I think I got that one from like Film to Franco or something like that. Okay. It's like a merch thing. Yeah. But that was where it started for sure. Right. But yeah, floral patterns, nah. What you've got on right now, I really like. Because it's just a design. It's not necessarily like...
It's just the same picture over and over and over again.
Yeah. It's not, you're not looking at it and crossing your eyes trying to find out what the picture is or anything like that.
Yeah, and they make these other, like, those Aloha shirts. It might just be a big-ass portrait.
Yeah.
Like, this whole thing's just a picture. What? It's awesome.
They're awesome.
And it's made out of rayon.
Rayon?
Look up. I think it's rayon, and it's a cotton or a yarn that is very silk-like. Okay,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what the good ones are made out of, and I guess it has a little bit of a give to it.
Yeah, it's not cotton. It feels synthetic, but it is technically cotton or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Those are really, really nice. I like those.
Yes, I'm gonna need to get about 5 of those. One for every day of the week.
This weekend we're going to the Target. We're just gonna go together.
Yeah, I mean they have some awesomes in there. What else was where was I going with that? Oh, so let's jump around real quick. Let's just go straight to it. Let's talk a little entertainment.
Yep.
You're a Star Wars fan, right?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So you've watched The Mandalorian.
I watched The Mandalorian.
Have you watched The Mandalorian 2?
I watched the second season.
So have you watched Boba Fett?
I watched Boba Fett.
Have you watched Obi-Wan?
I did.
Did you finish Obi-Wan?
I finished Obi-Wan.
Let's discuss.
Did you watch Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Here's what I like.
Here's my thing. Okay, hold on. Pause. Because I have never, we talked Mandalorian, and, I was excited about it, because it was also the time you were excited about Yellowstone, and I was like, it's Western. You'll like it.
I get
and
it.
you enjoyed it, obviously.
No, I get it.
I just didn't expect you to go back for Obi-Wan.
Here's my thing. I like bad guys that you have feelings for.
Yes.
All right?
Darth Vader is definitely one of those.
Darth Vader's one of the greatest of those.
Darth Vader is in the original canon, just the 6 movies that you watch in Star Wars, great villain. You get his whole story. The whole series is about him. And so he's a great villain. But then you all of these new things that have come out here recently, because, in the old canon before Disney bought, he was super cool. But they're starting to slowly get that. They're slowly putting it in, because they're putting movies when Darth Vader's alive, when he's at his most powerful. The end of Rogue One is only good because there's the whole hallway scene of Darth Vader, and he's just murdering people. That's all it is. There's nobody on that ship that matters except for Princess Leia, and we know he gets to her in the 4th movie, so he's not going to get there in time. And he just murks dudes.
Yeah.
It's a great scene, because there's this one guy that's shooting him, and then Darth Vader literally just clenches his fist. The guy goes up into the into the ceiling and then drops down dead. It's amazing.
Yes, all that's amazing. And the fact that I didn't expect it to be so Vader heavy, right? So I mean, you watch and I didn't I didn't know anything going into it.
Okay.
I saw Obi-Wan, and I was like, "Oh, that's the dude that played Obi-Wan."
It's Kenobi, yeah.
And I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
And then me and Tia watched the first one, and there was already 2 out.
Yeah.
So we watched the first one, and I go, "Ooh, that's pretty
good.
That's pretty good." I was like, "They're about to." it looks like they're about to introduce Vader. That's kind of cool. And then we watched the second one, and it was like, oh,
there he is.
It's an episode on him.
Yeah.
And then I was like, so that's probably like going to be the best episode of the show or whatever. And then it's like, he's just in more episodes.
He's just there.
He's damn near the main character. You know, like
that's what I did enjoy about it. Even though personally, I wanted more just Kenobi. I just want it sounds boring that it's the whole start of the show is old man in desert, sad.
Yeah.
The end of the show is still going to technically be old man in desert, kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like we knew that going in, and so the idea that he still meets Vader and he has this closure, blah 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 blah, whatever happens in the show, I was expecting it, but I wasn't necessarily hoping for it. I knew it could happen, but I didn't know how much. I didn't know if there was actually going to be a lightsaber battle in this entire thing.
They're finishing stories that you already know what the answer is.
Exactly. They're filling in the small gaps for, let's be honest here, fan service. It's just for the fans. Yeah. Because people wanted Ewan McGregor to do Obi-Wan one last time.
And let me tell you something. Darth Vader having that much of a part of a show.
Yeah.
Think about how many movies has Darth Vader been in?
Darth Vader has been in a grand total of, so you've got the original trilogy, so he's in all three. He's in Revenge of the Sith, because that's when he's created. He's in Rogue One, and he's mentioned throughout the sequels because he's Darth Vader.
Right.
The father of a Luke Skywalker.
Sure.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
But
gotcha, bitches.
Sorry. But yeah, 5 movies in total, and he's that beloved of a character. And he's scary every single time.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the all-time greatest villains in a show.
Most recognizable, 100%.
And that voice. Okay, so how many minutes do you think Darth Vader has been on screen, not his voice, on screen, in 5 movies?
In 5 movies, Darth Vader probably still only has, I would say, maybe in total out of all of that, a lot of the chunks come in like Empire and then Return of the Jedi, because he's in the throne room scene with Luke at the very end. Those are the biggest chunks of Darth Vader scenes.
Those are like 7-minute scenes.
No. Those are like 20, 30 minutes.
Okay.
I'd say. A grand total for 5 movies, I would actually only say maybe like 2.5 hours. Ish. I could be totally wrong. I'm sure somebody's actually done the math.
It's got to be out there somewhere. I was going to say, there's more Vader in this series than there's been Vader of all time.
At least equivalent to
that's
how much
cool.
he's in. Yeah.
That's the cool part of it.
And that's what I really like about Kenobi is it does Revenge of the prequel trilogy 1 through 3. You're not gonna see Vader because he doesn't exist. He's not some at the very end of the last movie in that trilogy he exists, and that's where we end. Cool. Sequels, he's dead because he dies in the last of the original trilogy. Spoilers. But in the interim, since those 2 trilogies have come out, we've gotten Darth Vader in 1 movie because he's got bigger fish to fry, I guess. And Rogue One was the only movie. He wasn't going to be in Solo because it's not about anything for the Empire.
You ready to listen to this?
Oh, God.
All right.
I was looking it up, and then you threw it to me.
In the original trilogy.
Uh-huh.
How many? Because that's the significant chunk of Vader. So it's not like it's 15 minutes more than this.
Okay.
Right? The original trilogy.
Darth Vader's in it how much?
37 minutes.
Jesus.
And 30 seconds.
Are you serious?
In the original movie that made him a superstar.
He was not in it.
9 minutes.
Yeah. 9 minutes is all you needed. It's the very beginning when he's getting on the
I'm sorry.
Know this.
8 minutes and 6 seconds.
8 minutes and 6 seconds. Okay. So you've got the scene where he gets on the Tantive 4. I shouldn't know the name of that dumb ship. He gets on the ship. He gets off of that ship onto his ship, and you see him on the Star Destroyer. You then see him on the Star Destroyer, seeing that Obi-Wan comes in, the fight with Obi-Wan, and then after that, you barely see him. He talks to the Emperor once, I think, and then he is flying his TIE Destroyer in the trench run behind Luke. And that's it. That's all. That's as much of the time of screen time that the villain got in Star Wars.
Yeah, Rogue One. So that was the other big one outside of the 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes.
Good.
15 minutes in a movie over 2 hours. But that's pretty good.
And in this...
Now, I'm not counting Anakin. All right, I'm talking fucking Vader. All right.
Okay.
To be clear.
So, helmet on.
Helmet. I'm talking about... yes, bitches.
Because...
Vader.
And that's another thing that I did like about Kenobi. Although, okay, the scene from, like, episode 4 or something like that, the very beginning, it's the flashback to between 2 and 3. Because he's still got the Padawan braid. They're on Coruscant. They're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Which was episode 4, whatever episode that is, with that flashback, and then the end of that episode, best episode out of the series until the last one.
Right. The last one's phenomenal.
Last one's great. But so the one thing that it kind of irked me because I know Disney can do better is that Anakin in that scene looks old. He's got the hair right. Everything looks good except his face. He's old. He's you can see the creases in his face. You go back and watch episode 2. You go back and watch episode 3. He doesn't look old because he wasn't. Makeup is so easy.
Gotcha.
They do makeup not even to look like anything. They just make they'll put on makeup just to make your face look right.
Right.
They could have put in a little effort. There's so much de-aging
that was the
technology.
same dude, right?
Yeah. Hayden Christensen came back, and that was also another thing. Like, Hayden Christensen was the guy in the suit for this entire series.
Oh, he was?
Yes.
Is he going to be playing Vader moving forward?
If he can, he will, is what I think he has said. Is like, he will always come back to play this character because, A, it's the character that made him famous, but 2, he feels like, and it's kind of sad because, like, during the run-up of this show, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen were on, like, the press tour with, I can't remember her name, the Reva, the Inquisitor.
Okay, yeah.
Moses Ingram, that's her name. They were on the press tour, and they both were saying, like, we knew that what we were doing with George in the 2000s was going to be good. We just knew it's going to take time, is what they said. Not crying.
Yeah.
I've got a dry throat, I promise. I'm not that invested in Star Wars anymore. But they just knew it needed time. Like, they'll appreciate it later on.
Right.
And a lot of people do now. A lot of people look at Episode 3 as the best movie of all of Star Wars. Episode 3, yeah. Because you've got the whole conflict between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and the ending fight scene is the best sword fight in any movie.
Right.
And Hayden Christensen got a lot of flack because the prequels were written very Shakespearean. They're like high art as far as dialogue. He says such like stilted lines, and he says them in a certain way because that's what George Lucas wanted, and everyone's watching it and they're like, this guy's a dork. Nobody likes him.
Right.
And then people look back now, and it's just like, it's still dorky dialogue because it's a Star Wars movie.
Sure.
But people appreciate it now. And then you get to now, and it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, old. The dialogue's still funky because that's how people in Star Wars talk.
Right.
But it's so good, and you get to see Darth Vader fighting Obi-Wan one more time, and then spoilers. If you're still watching, I don't know why, because we've been talking all over the place about the show. The very end, you get Obi-Wan fighting Darth Vader, and he does some damage.
Yeah.
Like, I knew obviously Obi-Wan's not going to die. Obviously Darth Vader's not going to die.
Right.
But you want to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan gets a really good slash at Darth Vader's mask. You see his face underneath. It's all weird and creepy. Anakin, I'm sorry. And dude, the emotion, I say I don't get emotional about Star Wars. The emotion I feel watching that final episode and Anakin or Darth Vader talking to Kenobi on that whatever planet it was after their fight.
Obi-Wan, you didn't kill Anakin.
I did.
God,
like, what a good line. But it fits. It fits into the whole.
Yeah.
This whole show is about like Obi-Wan struggling with PTSD for killing his best friend and his student, and he's getting the closure from his student saying, "You didn't kill me, I killed me." What? Like I don't know. I don't know if anybody expected anything different.
Then my friend is gone.
Yeah. And it gives him closure, and that's why. A lot of people going in were like, "Oh, this is going to create so many plot holes for episode 4." It really doesn't.
No.
Like it opens up and closes itself, which for a show I don't really like, but I don't think this is really a show. I think it's just an 8-hour movie.
Okay, so now let's go to fantasy booking. Welcome to Chat with Gunner.
Oh, guys.
So what do you spin off that, like, if you did a, Obi-Wan season 2?
Okay, so here's the thing. If you had asked me before Kenobi came out what was going to happen in Kenobi, I would have probably told you, we'll get Kenobi is on Tatooine, and then he has to leave Tatooine because something happens. Darth Vader finds him because he's left his solace and his home and his cover on Tatooine. He somehow gets found out. Darth Vader chases him. They might fight once. Kenobi loses. They fight a second time. At the very end, Kenobi wins. Roll credits. Kenobi goes back to Tatooine without Darth Vader knowing, so he goes back into hiding. I didn't expect Leia. I didn't necessarily even expect really seeing any of Luke, because Luke doesn't know who Kenobi is. He just knows that there's this old guy named Ben Kenobi. Who's that? And then Leia, which it's funny because that's the biggest thing that people have complained about as far as continuity is like the original Star Wars starts off. I think the most memorable line from that movie is, "Obi-Wan, you're my only hope." She starts off that that hologram with Obi-Wan Kenobi, you fought for my father in the Clone Wars. She talks to him like she doesn't know him. But at the same time, I think the writers, even though I don't think the writers are as good as they think they are for the show, even though it's a good show, doesn't mean it's well written. I think the writers of this show thought they were smart by Obi-Wan never saying his name was Obi-Wan. He just calls himself Ben Kenobi. Mm-hmm. And so why would Leia know who Obi-Wan is? She's only ever met Ben Kenobi.
Well, and also, I mean, how old is she in episode 4?
Episode 4? So I really shouldn't know all of these things. So there is I believe, 19-year gap between episode 1 or episode 3 and then episode 4. Because the only reason I really know this is because the fight on Mustafar in episode 3 is 19 BBY. BBY meaning before the Battle of Yavin, which is the final battle in episode 4. That's like, for the timeline, episode 4 is the center point, basically.
Right.
So 19 years. So this is 10 years. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show, is 10 years after episode 3. So she's only 10.
She's 10.
She would be 1920 in episode 4.
Okay. So, I mean, I was trying to come up with a, devil's advocate.
I mean, to be fair, if I had met somebody when I was 10 that I've only ever met once, I probably wouldn't remember necessarily if their name was Ben Kenobi or Obi-Wan Kenobi. I just know that my dad talked about him a lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to
But at the same time,
save 'em,
my life was never at risk of being captured by a Sith Inquisitor. Whatever.
Right. Okay, we'll give him a pass on that one.
Yeah. It's not that big of a deal. It's Star Wars. It doesn't matter.
Here's what I think happens if they do season 2.
Hmm?
Season 2, Luke replaces Leia in the amount of screen time.
Oh, that would just make sense.
And then,
I don't think you could put more Leia into a second season.
And then at the end of season 2,
mm-hmm.
you introduce Han.
So I don't hate that idea, but it messes with the continuity because Han doesn't know Obi-Wan or Luke in episode 4.
But you could just introduce him as, like, you could do a side story within, right?
Sure.
You could show what he's doing at that time as a kid.
Sure. Well, at this point, Han. So that was the whole point of the Solo movie.
See, I didn't even watch that.
It's okay. I think the Solo movie takes place. It would be, as it stands right now, the Solo movie would be between now in Kenobi and then episode 4. It's right about the same time period because Han is much older than Leia or Luke.
Okay.
He's I think he's technically alive before episode 3.
Okay.
So yeah. I would like to see more with Luke. I think that was kind of what I was expecting out of this. If one of the twins were to have been, taken off-world, something or like that. Right. Somebody's in trouble, Kenobi has to go help him, blah, 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 blah. But even then, I don't necessarily think... I think Luke could get a lot of screen time, but I don't think Kenobi and Luke meet at all. Because you still have to hold on to the fact that Kenobi and Luke have never met prior to episode 4 because Luke doesn't know who Ben Kenobi is.
Right.
What's funny is that's how fast and loose Disney likes to play with the continuity, whereas a guy like Dave Filoni, who does Mandalorian and Boba Fett, and I think he was a producer on this, just like Jon Favreau. But Dave Filoni has been in all of the Star Wars media for a long time.
Yeah.
He did the Clone Wars, which was the
animated one on Netflix.
Not the 2D animated, but the 3D animated one.
Okay.
Throughout the entirety of that show, Dave Filoni had 2 characters never meet. They wrote the entire show consistently. They didn't write it all at once. They had to keep it in mind that Anakin and General Grievous never meet. Because in episode 3, at the very beginning, when they're on the ship and they meet Grievous for the first time, Kenobi knows who he is, but Anakin doesn't know who he is because he says, "I expected you to be taller." It's a classic, Star Wars line, but Anakin says it in that moment. That means they've never met. So for the entirety of a 5-season show, Dave Filoni made sure that they were never in the same place at the same time.
That's pretty good.
And that's the level of continuity a lot of Star Wars people expect.
Sure.
So when you're playing a little fast and loose with the rules for a Kenobi show, people get a little antsy with it. Like I said though, it doesn't matter to me. Star Wars.
Yeah.
Just have 2. I need a blue laser sword and a red laser sword. Go like this, and I'm happy. And I got that plenty of times in the show, so I was happy.
So here's my question, then I'm done for the night.
Yeah, we got to get out of here. We said it was going to be 20 minutes.
We've got this Vader stuff, Mandalorian stuff. You got Baby Yoda. You got Luke. Yeah. You got Leia, Han, all these different spinoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I just need a show called Yoda.
So I would love a show named Yoda. But I think the magic of Yoda is that you don't know anything about him. In the original series, the original 3 movies, you meet Yoda in the second movie, and he's in the third movie, and he dies. You meet him in the second movie, and here's why I would love to meet somebody that has never seen Star Wars. Like if I ever have kids, I will do my best to never show them anything Star Wars until they can understand it and at least like interact with it and appreciate it,
Mm-hmm.
because you watch episode 4 and it's like a really good movie. You know, it's actiony. It's got heart. All this and that. And then you watch Empire Strikes Back, and it's this kind of it's a really sad movie because the heroes lose in it, but there's a couple like surprises that by cultural osmosis we already know.
Right.
Before I had ever seen Empire Strikes Back fully, when I was conscious about it, I already knew, Luke, I am your father.
That is wrong.
I know it is. No, I am your father. I already knew that. And then Yoda, I already know he's cool because I had seen in episode 1 and 2, like, he's a cool badass with a laser sword and he's flipping around and shit. But in the original Empire Strikes Back, he starts off as this crotchety, old, just weird-looking green character. He's like, he is the comic relief for the entirety of the scenes that he's in, until the moment that he says, like, Luke is trying to force pull the X-Wing out of the swamp. He can't do it. And it's, do or do not. There is no try. And he does it. He just does it. You don't know that he has the abilities of the Force. You don't know anything about that. You just know that he knows about it. You didn't know he could do it. And then he does it like it's nothing. He just raises up his cane and the X-Wing floats out of the swamp. And so going back in episode 1 through 3, we get more of Yoda being a Jedi. But I think what I like about Yoda as a character is that he's not... He doesn't have to have a lightsaber. He's just a mystical, powerful creature that is super cool without having to have a laser sword. And the fact that he has a laser sword is cool, and it's expected, and is green, cool, but, like, he doesn't need it.
Right.
And so a Yoda show... I mean, we don't even know what Yoda's species is. The Grogu in Mandalorian, we called him Baby Yoda because that's all we had. Like, that's the only thing we can call this creature. George Lucas is specific about saying, you'll never, like, I don't want anyone to know what I personally call Yoda's species. I don't have a name for it because he's just a weird guy that lives for 500, 600 years and is super powerful with the Force. There's only there's two other ones. That's Grogu, that we've seen in obviously Mandalorian, and then Yaddle, who's a background character on the Jedi Council in episode 1, and you only ever see her once. It's fascinating. I know too much about Star Wars, but I think personally what I would prefer to see, other than a Yoda show, just give me just I don't need anything out of a trailer other than it's just a black screen. You hear the sound, the only sound you need to hear, and then a red lightsaber cuts through the black and draws out Vader. I just need a Darth Vader show. I need him being Darth Vader and just hunting. He's just hunting Jedi. That's all I want. Because there's the 19-year span, and we get a little bit of it in this, as in, like, the dialogue is explaining, like, oh, the Inquisitors are looking for Jedi because they're trying to wipe them all out. And obviously Vader's looking for Kenobi specifically because he wants revenge. But you don't see him killing other Jedi. But he's the most powerful Jedi ever that turns to the dark side and is now hunting them. I want to see Vader. The hallway scene in Rogue One, I want to see that, but it's just a room full of it's just a room full of Jedi, and he's just murking them because he's that strong.
Yeah.
And we got a little bit of that with Reva in this. When she tries to fight him, it's like a toddler trying to kick you in the shins.
Yeah.
He straight up just stops her lightsaber from moving. He just does this, and she can't move, and then he just force pushes her away.
Yeah.
There's those small details, like their first fight in what, episode 4?
Mm-hmm.
The small detail that throughout the entire fight where Kenobi is fighting Darth Vader, he's only ever using one hand on his lightsaber. He never does this. And Kenobi's only like this. He's afraid for his life, and Vader's just swiping back and forth. And then in the last episode, you see that there's a specific change after Vader brings down the rubble, and he's underneath the rubble, and Kenobi gets out by fucking force pushing the entire rock out of his way. Great scene, by the way, just awesome. And then like. The immediate moment when Kenobi comes back and starts swinging at Vader, Vader has two hands up because he's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And that's the only time I ever want to see Vader.
Your power has returned.
That's the only time I ever want to see Vader on the back foot. He's other than with Kenobi because he was beaten once and he has the doubt. Other than that, like Vader knows he's more powerful than everybody else other than the Emperor, so he's not afraid of you. He's just gonna walk down the hallway. You're gonna try to do something to him, and he's just gonna bat it away.
Yeah, Vader's awesome.
So,
did you really think you would defeat me?
Do you think
you are wrong, Obi-Wan?
You didn't think I already knew where you came from, Padawan? Very quick tangent, but you've got me on Star Wars. I've been replaying the Jedi Fallen Order game. Chris has played it with Andrew. And he loves it too. It's fun. But to spoil the game, because I wouldn't expect you to sit down and play a game like that.
What's this on?
It's on PS4, PS5,
Okay.
Yeah. There is a great moment in that game where it is set kind of around... People were expecting to see the main character from Fallen Order, his name's Cal Kestis, in this because it's the same time. Like right now, that game is going on while Kenobi is going on. Like people were excited because... Cal was also a Jedi Padawan during Order 66, and he had to run away. So maybe in like he could have possibly been on the Underground Railroad for the Jedi. But in that game, it also has a lot to do with the Inquisitors. The Inquisitors are hunting him because he finds out that there's a holocron that contains names of Force-sensitive children before Order 66 and their location. So it's like this big database that if the Inquisitors got, they could just go out into the universe and just murder hundreds of innocent people just because they have Force of powers. So by the end of it, Cal has gotten it back. He has to go into the Inquisitorious citadel that Kenobi breaks into. Cal breaks into it the same exact way.
Gotcha.
It's very funny. And he breaks in and he's fighting the second sister is what her character name is. She dies in this, so she didn't show up in Kenobi, obviously. But while he's fighting her, like it's this big boss battle, and you're really struggling to fight her, and you finally beat her, and there's some dialogue. She's like trying to atone for her sins. She's sorry that she's gone this far. She used to be a Jedi. She used to be good, and now she's so deep in the darkness. And she's standing there, and it's this like circle room, and then there's this big platform behind you with like, I don't know, lava behind it, or like just a fog cloud or whatever, and deep into like a reactor or something, right? Mm-hmm. And she stops, and she's like on the left side of the screen, and she's like, "I'm sorry, I should have never gone this far." And then you hear a thunk, thunk, and then you hear the breathing, and Darth Vader just shows up out of focus in the background on top of the platform. And he just jumps down, and she's like, "I'm sorry," and he just straight up murders her right in front of you. And there's this quick moment where you get back into your character, and like you see the health bar, but then you see the objective: survive. And like you could try and fight him, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to open the door back up and just run back the same way you came. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the many moments in Star Wars like media that like it shows off. Yeah, you have no chance. You had a chance against this, Imperial Inquisitor who has been training her entire life to kill Jedi.
Right.
You had a chance, but with Darth Vader, The man walked in, you were already dead. So you got to run.
Right.
And it's a great moment that would be, I would just want that, the entirety of a Vader show.
Yeah, I'm down.
That's all I need.
I'm down. Yeah, man, good stuff out right now. Between Top Guns and
Top Gun,
Jurassic
Kenobi,
World,
Jurassic World. Another show I've been watching, just quickly, I'm not going to go deep into it because I haven't finished it, and I think you would really like it, Righteous Gemstones.
I've watched the first season.
Did you like it? Did you not like it?
So I can only take so much of that type of humor.
Okay, that's fair.
But I did like it, yes.
Yeah.
I know there's wrestling in the later episodes.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of weird.
Everybody keeps telling me, like, dude, you got to watch it. It's like, I love Danny McBride, 30 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
You know?
But they're 50-minute episodes.
And they're 50-minute episodes, man. They just lose me. And
yep.
there's only so much cocaine off of hookers and in church themes that I can take.
That's what's so funny about it, though. It's like, again, I don't want to go into it, but like, I was expecting like the Hollywood, haha, religion, haha, these guys are hypocrites, blah 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 blah. But no, like, there's some decent people in this. It's just none of the main characters.
Yeah.
No, I just got on season 2. I'm on like episode 3 now. Season 3 is coming out, so I was really excited about that. But I just really need something like. I don't need another Marvel show. I don't need a Star Wars show. I just need something to be self-contained that I don't have to think about any after that.
Right.
Like Barry was good.
That's where I'm at, because you got to think. I'm up at 3 a.m., workout,
Yeah.
go to work all day. Every other week, Marcus is with me at work.
Mm-hmm.
Tia was at home 2 days this week, so he was with her for the first 2 days, so that helps a little bit. But all that stuff. Podcast on Thursdays. Just finished baseball.
Yeah.
So, like, by the time I get home, dude, eat dinner, shower, and get ready for the next day,
Mm-hmm.
it is so hard for me to keep my eyes open for an hour. But it was easy. Young Rock, up until it was over,
Yeah.
got me through.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 25-minute episodes, and it was fantastic. And they already signed on for a third season.
Nice.
And then this next one has been Kenobi.
Yeah.
Kenobi is strong. And you know what I really want to see, and I cannot wait to talk about it when I see it,
What is it?
and most likely we'll see it this weekend?
What is it?
Elvis.
Ooh, dude. Okay.
And I've heard it is incredible.
This is the one weekend where I need to know when you're going. Because between that, I don't know if I sent it to you, Al, or no. It's called Weird.
Yeah.
It's Daniel Radcliffe being Weird Al.
Oh, okay.
Which is great. And then it's Blonde, which is a Marilyn Monroe documentary.
Well, that's on Netflix, right?
Hulu.
Hulu. Okay.
Yeah. But it's Ana de Armas. She was not the main love interest, but she was the girl in Cuba in No Time to Die.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So there's something about these documentary type movies that I'm really happy with.
And there's like a Kobe Bryant style The Last Dance coming out in a few months.
See, that's an actual documentary though. I love documentaries because I watched the entirety of Last Dance and I do not care about basketball. But
best documentary ever put together in a 8-part series or whatever
easy,
it was.
Easy. But there's something about like Rocket Man, Bohemian Rhapsody, Ray. Ray was the first one of its kind, and we didn't really know what we wanted out of it.
Walk the Line.
Walk the Line, also very, very good.
Yep.
But I think Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man coming out both in the same year
Mm-hmm.
was a really big push for these. And I don't know who else they would do, because you have to have like an Elvis. You have to have a Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Even Weird Al. Everyone knows Weird Al.
Yeah.
And you don't really hear anything about him outside of, oh, hey, Weird Al put out a new song.
Yeah.
That's about it. So having Weird be like, hey, this is his actual story. This is how he got started. Cool. I'm down for that. I just don't know if we can keep doing that. We're running out of stars.
I also like what The Rock did with Young Rock. He's almost saying, here's how I think Young Rock came about. And so early 2010s, I believe, if you was to go back and figure out how to go through The Rock's old tweets, you'd see this. But The Rock tweeted kind of randomly, and it was one time and never really talked about it ever again that he was starting to write his autobiography.
Oh.
All right. So what I think happened was he started writing this autobiography.
Yeah.
Then $7 Productions took off. And then he became like a good actor and the
Yeah.
top movie star. Not just the top movie star, but like good and the top.
Yeah.
And now he's like, oh, well, I can just do my own movies.
Yeah, I can just make it myself.
And do whatever I want to. And then he goes, well, one of these days, if I don't do it, somebody's going to make a movie about my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 50. I'm just going to tell it like it is, and I'm going to be in it too.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that's his autobiography. Because if you go to C's in a mockumentary style way.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with Blonde. Like it's not an autobiography, but it's based on a book.
Yeah.
But I feel like people would love it more to have Greenlight, for example. Matthew McConaughey just talking about. I say that like Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
But he writes this book. I don't necessarily think it's an autobiography. It's just him telling his story in a way.
Yeah.
I'm sure something is embellished, and it's his book about him.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be factual. But I would love to watch a movie called Greenlight, and it's starring Matthew McConaughey because he's still alive, and he's able to do a young Rock.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just don't think that we're going to... The Rock is the exception for modern actors and actresses and stars that I think people care enough about that want to know.
You know it'd be a good one?
Gunnar Miller?
Yeah, absolutely. But an Arnold or a Sylvester Stallone.
I think an Arnold would do well because of the Coming to America
and the
aspect to it.
bodybuilding, and then the mayor or the governor, and then the acting, then they come back to acting.
It's definitely it's an American story kind of thing.
Yep.
I think that would work. If I had to choose one, and you'd have to be very careful about it because of obvious reasons. But I think honestly, it doesn't have to be a Kurt Cobain focused one, but I think a Nirvana, like how they did Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Obviously, Freddie Mercury is the focus of it because Freddie Mercury was Queen.
Right.
But I think a Nirvana based movie like that, while everyone else is I think still alive. I mean, obviously, what's the guy from Foo Fighters? Shoot. The drummer for Nirvana. He obviously went on to do Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl.
Okay.
He's still alive, and Dave Grohl has said that he's never spoke any ill about Kurt. He's never spoken any ill about anybody or anything, I don't think. But I would think he would respect somebody wanting to tell the right story and not just be a salacious, who killed Kurt Cobain or anything like that. I would just want to know what their story was outside of the obvious stuff about Kurt. Like, I want to know how they got started and how obviously stardom affected Kurt, but how even affected Dave and how the band. Because Nirvana, people always say, like, if Kurt hadn't killed himself or hadn't died, whatever you want to say, controversy, whatever you want to say about Kurt, if he was still alive, Nirvana would have been Queen. They would have been the Beatles.
Gotcha.
They had started, or if they didn't start it, they were the faces of grunge.
Gotcha.
And punk. And so I would love to see, especially bandmates, be a part of something to tell a story about the person they loved the most that they can't see anymore.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
You just have to find the right actor for it.
Right.
I feel like
they're out there.
I feel like that could be a very dark
Heath Ledger,
story.
I mean,
yeah. Yes. I mean, you make the joke, but like that's exactly. If I were to cast it, I would have probably done Heath Ledger to do a Kurt Cobain movie. But yeah, I think Elvis is going to be really good. I've excited.
Heard it's fantastic.
I love Elvis.
I listened to an interview with the guy, and he said that Elvis had a different voice in the 50s, 60s, and 70s based off of just the phases he was in his life.
Oh, yeah.
And then he reenacted those voices and told why he thinks he heard those voices because he listened to all these interviews from his archives of Elvis. And he was like, at the very beginning he talks real fast because he's young and he's nervous and he doesn't really know what he's doing and he's just excited to be there. Then you got like cool Elvis through the 60s.
He talks a little bit slower.
And then in the 70s, he's like talking with pain in his face.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, and he does it all.
I mean,
it's
he's
great.
talking with pain in his face because he just ate what I don't know what they call
peanut
it.
Butter,
the
fried
peanut butter
sandwiches.
Yeah, with banana in
Bananas.
them.
Yep.
Like, listen, if I had that much money, I probably would be the same way. So.
Oh, I watched a movie the other day with Elvis coming out. It's called The Day Elvis Met Nixon.
Ooh.
It's on Prime.
Yeah.
And the guy that played Elvis, I didn't think did a great job, but it gets the point across.
It's not like the guy that played Lincoln.
Yeah,
that was prime casting.
Yeah, I just wasn't overly excited with the way they casted him.
Fair enough.
But my boy Frank Underwood, aka Kevin Spacey, plays Nixon.
Ooh.
And it's worth that.
Hold on. When was this made?
Like 2016, 17, 18.
Still.
Towards the end of House of Cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
He barely skated. Got out, and then everything else came out, and they were like, okay, just put it up.
So, and I thought the entire time it was like a like a mockumentary type thing, like a parody of what if Elvis met Nixon.
No, they totally met.
They told the real story.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Memphis Mafia?
Yes.
I'm not going down this whole Elvis path.
We don't need to. We could do it next week after we've seen the movie.
Okay. We'll do an Elvis episode.
You better come in with. It doesn't have to be a Hawaiian shirt, but it needs to be a white shirt with. I'll try and buy a ukulele.
Me tender, love me sweet.
We need to do a photo shoot that you just dress up like Elvis.
That's right, dude. I love in that movie. Like he's in that movie, he's so depressed the entire time. He's like smoking a joint while being pissed at the TV because of the kids doing drugs. I love that scene. Then he shoots the TV and he walks into the international airport in Memphis as Elvis at 3:00 in the morning.
Good Lord.
And the attendant's like losing her mind. And he goes, hey, baby, I need a flight out to Washington, D.C. I'm going to meet with the president. And he hadn't even came up with a plan yet. Like, and she's like, oh, okay, can I see some identification? And he shows her a badge. So he had all these badges from local law enforcement that just said Elvis Presley, deputy of whatever.
Yeah.
So he pulled out this badge. And she's like, sir, I need identification. He was like, baby, you know who I am. I mean, and she's like, yes, sir, Mr. King. and then she's like, you got anything else on you? He goes, oh, just my 45. And he like pulls out his 45. And she's like, sir, you cannot have that. And he goes, baby, it's okay. I'm registered to carry this, and I am the king. So, and they just let him on the plane. This dude carries in like 6 guns to the White House.
Yes. He gives the president a gun.
Yes. And got mad because he took the bullets out.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, there's no way that was real. So I go to sleep or whatever. And then, I start researching Elvis the next day because the movie coming out and everything. And I'm on his Wikipedia page, and I'll be damned. It's not the third picture down from the Wikipedia is a black and white picture of him and Nixon. I was like, did they take that from the movie? And then I look at it and I was like, this really happened? And then I read what happened. I was like, the movie happened. Exactly happened. It's incredible.
Again, I just don't think, like you said, Arnold, that's a great story. I would love to hear it. But I just don't think there's many stories like that anymore.
Yeah, no, there's not.
Just somebody that's bigger than life. That just their real life is just a movie.
A Trump movie would be good.
A Trump movie would be good.
A Trump movie would be
it would never come out. Nobody would want it.
Oh, yeah. 70, 80 million people.
Listen.
It would be the most watched movie of 2023. Tell
Gunner,
me I'm wrong.
I have an idea. I need I just need investors.
Oh my god, I got it.
I need a producer
his campaign
for
trail.
It. Oh my god.
He needs to have a movie come out about his life.
Yes.
Shedding him in a positive light during the campaign summer 2024 during the campaign, and then he needs to go around doing press conferences for that. That's his rallies. And you have 80 million people go watch this fucking movie. And it becomes a 80 million times 7. What is that?
80 million times 7. That's. Oh God! Don't make me. Why you ask me to do math, dude? When you've just dropped this. Oh my gosh! This would be. It would be such a good movie. 560 million.
So that'd be 560 million just off of Republican voters in the U.S. Not to mention all the assholes that want to watch it just because it's a movie about Trump. They'd be wanting
And they want to see it so they can rip it apart.
Yeah.
It just oh man.
That's the movie.
I just need to put this in front of somebody.
And you know what the name of the movie is?
The Art of the Deal.
The Art of the Deal. The Art of the Deal. Or
gosh.
The Art of the Seal.
Damn, Gunner. I don't give you a lot of credit, but damn, that was good. The Art of the Seal.
Listen, how do we get a hold of people? Can we make a movie?
We can definitely make a movie.
How do you do how would that happen? Because if that's not the greatest idea ever, somebody needs to get this to him.
He probably has the life rights to himself. Obviously, he's Trump. He has his own movie rights. We just gotta get in front of him, man. I just need to make some calls.
And then you go, Trump, we're going to franchise you.
I don't think you could say that to Trump. He has towers around the world.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to say, listen, we're going to franchise you in a movie. It's going to be a 3-part movie. And you're going to film the ending scenes of the final part of your movie when you win the 2024 election. But you're going to win the 2024 election with the first 2 movies.
We just the production is just like following him at all times. We use all of our own actors. It's not a documentary whatsoever. It's just reenacting things that happened day of.
Yeah.
And then he wins, and it's just oh my gosh.
Yeah. Be awesome.
Even better, the ending of it is it's the party. It's November 3rd, 2024. It's the announcement. No, you don't.
Dude.
It ends. This is how it ends. You're at the party, and he turns around and he's looking at the TV. The winner of the 2024 election is, and it just cuts to black.
Yeah, no.
It just cuts to black.
But then in the credits, like the first thing that pops up in the credits is like
the credits is just a slowed down.
Whatever his slogan is.
I mean, sure.
Right, but then it needs to be YMCA young man playing
slow
in the credits.
Down.
Yeah.
Slow down for a credits theme, and the very end is the first like 5 notes of Hail to the Chief.
Be awesome.
We have so many good ideas. We just don't have the money for them.
Listen,
Gunner.
This needs to be everywhere. I need everyone to see this.
This is the
movie.
greatest. Like again,
this is the greatest movie that's never going to be made.
Listen, I know there are people out there. There are probably going to be people who listen to this eventually that don't like Trump. I understand that.
Sure,
but do you know how cool
Hitler does good movies too?
Has there been a Hitler movie? I don't think there's been.
Let's
a Hitler
get one.
movie.
I need a Hitler movie.
No.
We need to do a series.
Oh my god.
On the. That's what I need. I need a Netflix series going against the grain, showing positive lights of the world's greatest killers.
I don't think that's what you should want, Gunner.
No, it's a movie, right?
Well, yeah.
So you just twist a couple things.
But Gunner, I don't think that it's a good idea to make a show where a whole episode is Hitler. This is his life. Let's humanize him.
Well, let's be real. Whoever wins gets to tell the story.
They lost.
Understand that.
They lost pretty handedly.
But what I'm saying is, like, there's even misinformation when it comes to, like, Ukraine. Like, they was telling us Ukraine was winning.
I mean, they're telling us it's a war zone. Steve Carell just went over there.
Yeah, okay. We could go into a whole...
Let's not. We're already an hour and 9 minutes in.
So this is what happens. This is going to be a 20-minute episode, and I got you asses. All right? I got you. You're here now.
At the very beginning, we're like, oh, yeah, we're just going to get a quick 20-minute episode into this. Yeah, we're just going to talk about one thing, get out of here. Somebody looks down to the right. It's an hour and 45 minutes. I don't know what they're talking about.
I've got so much stuff to say. Like,
obviously.
Another thing. Okay, I got to go into fuck it. We're here now.
We're here.
We're here
We're
now.
locked in, bro.
Look, we got a bunch of stuff we can clip here. So here's my.
Well, I can't clip some of this, but
yeah. So here's my pre-show stuff. I want some of the things you said about Star Wars.
Yeah.
We need that clipped.
Okay.
And then the rest, you know what to do, so I can figure it out. But so here's this. Obviously, Tia is Samoan.
Okay.
And I love I'm an obsessive guy. So we've all been through. I mean, we're 2 years into this bad boy. So you guys have seen some of my habits, my addictions. I like to gamble a little bit. Maybe I went a little overboard. All right. I like to go do sports cards. Okay, got a few $1,000s of a collection of sports cards. Think we're good there for a little bit. Action figures. I like action figures. I got into a thing where I wanted to make my background in my office super cool and just fun of my things. Done that. Now we're at a part where, I'm doing this 75-day hard challenge, which means I've got 45 minutes every day that I got to put something in my ear, and it can't be an audio book because I'm reading books right now. So that's information overload. So I'm kind of want something entertaining that I'm interested in that I can also learn something, right? So
I think this is the moment where, as a man, you've become the dad that will now start researching World War II. It's a great Patton Oswalt stand-up that he says, as soon as I turned 40, I expected a lot of things, My hair's receding, I'm always tired, my body aches. And World War II is super interesting.
But for real though, so you think about like what we're doing right now, right? History just repeats itself in some way, and this is a whole different subject we'll get to in just a second.
History doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme.
Yes. Okay, you're right. Anyways, back to this thing that I'm excited about. So obviously T is Samoan, which means that I've done a few American Samoan Google searches in the past 3 to 4 years. But I haven't really just sat down and said, all right, if I was to be accepted in this culture, what would the expectations be? So I thought about it.
Gunner, I really respect that.
Yeah. So
I mean that. I really respect that.
Yeah. So I thought about like, what would my expectations be if someone was coming over here to meet me from another country that knew nothing really about the United States, or that I didn't expect them to know much about it, but they were coming over here to like get my respect, whether it was to earn a job, be invited to the family, to stay at my house, something, right? So probably I'd want to be, dressed in a way that is welcoming and not maybe overdone. I would want to fit their culture, understand like what they eat, what they drink, what their habits are, their activities. But then on a deeper level, like, okay, so what's their myths? What's their religion? What's their mythology mainly? Yeah. Like what?
Polynesian mythology is fascinating.
So I would say, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't even know how you would look up stats on this, and I probably fall into this stat. I bet 80% of Americans don't know how America became America.
What do you mean?
Like the real story.
I think a lot of people understand what happened. I think the biggest thing that a lot of people don't realize about the American Revolution and what started America was how long it took. 1776, we always think about like, oh yeah, America. We are 4 days away from it being America's birthday?
Yeah.
But that's just the day the Declaration of Independence was signed.
Sure.
Do you know how long the revolution actually lasted?
How long was it?
I don't know specifics, but it's longer than you think.
Okay, so we're at that part of history. It's at the it's longer than we think part, right? Yeah. So even right there, I'm putting you in that category because you also but you don't know. Just like me, I kind of know, but I don't know.
It took nearly 9 years for the American Revolution to end.
Okay, so now let's think about everything that happened prior to that on our land.
Mm-hmm.
Like our land. So let's go into Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I probably know a little bit more about this just because of where I grew up.
Yeah, so let's go into that. And then, like, the first settlers, right? So you start going into that stuff. It's like, okay, everything that happens in the United States of America on this rock also happened in Samoa, just in their story.
Yep.
And it's the Pacific Islands, Polynesia, Oceania, all right? And I've learned that the first Polynesian islands to be navigated to, and you know what they originally called the people of the Polynesian area?
Indians.
The navigators.
Oh, navigators. Okay.
Because they're known as the greatest navigators of all time.
Yeah, they can
above
bounce
the
around
Vikings.
those islands.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it was Fiji and Tonga.
Okay.
That's the first two. And then Samoa.
Gotcha.
That's kind of the spinoff, but that's where all those people kind of came about.
Okay.
And then you learn about Western Samoa and American Samoa, and how Western Samoa was German Samoa and American Samoa was American Samoa. And then after World War I, it became, like in I don't know, whatever it was, it became just its own deal as like Western Samoa, kind of taken away from Germany. But then, like, it was not until like 1956 that it became Samoa, which is not too long ago. Like, my dad's older than Samoa.
What's fascinating to me, I just looked it up. American Samoa is like, what, 11 miles, 12 miles across?
It's tiny.
That is tiny.
Population of 56,000 people, I believe.
Jeez.
On a slow decline since 2016.
That's what gets me real sad. Not gonna lie.
Well, and I asked Tia about that, and she said it's because everybody's out. Like,
Yeah.
everybody's getting off the rock. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
And the two ways you get off the rock is by playing football or joining the military.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the number one draft picks of the majority of the military leaders, if they get a pick, if anybody wants to come from the island of American Samoa, they want them in their group.
100%.
So then you look up, like, the largest people in the world. The largest people in the world, the top 10 per capita is filled with Polynesian islands.
Damn.
Largest people, like, body mass index in the
just
world.
big.
Then, like, the United States is 12. Right? So,
listen, it was funny because, okay, Tia came last weekend for the podcast. It was hilarious to me. Hilarious. Because we didn't know she was coming, and we were in here talking or whatever. We hear the doorbell ring a bunch of times because Tia's
impatient.
ringing. You said it, not me.
Yeah.
And like, Sting goes and opens the door, and she's messing around with him, and I didn't realize. Listen, I've met Tia once.
Yeah, the wrestling trip.
Well, twice. I met her at her birthday.
That's right.
That was the first time.
Yeah.
I didn't have anybody else here for context other than you, and I already know you're pretty big, like, whatever. And then the wrestling trip, which I didn't really get much time interacting with her.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that her and Sting are basically the same height. Like, in my brain, that it blew my mind because she walked in. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It never dawned on me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. Samoan people, pretty big.
Average male in Samoa. And maybe you can look this up and check me. But I'm pretty sure
Samoa or American Samoa? Same thing?
I think you could probably type in either.
Okay.
I believe it is either 6 foot or 6'1", 221 pounds is the average male. Check me. Pull it up, Ethan.
Oh God, they put it in centimeters for some reason. Hold on.
What's the centimeters?
Average male in American Samoa is 177.09 centimeters. Don't know what that is.
Yeah, me either. I was trying to act cool.
Let me scroll down. Oh, on the bottom end of the spectrum, average male height, I think is what I'm looking at, is Vietnam 63.82 inches. Damn.
Tiny little guys.
Yep. Hey, listen, I'm I'm above that, I think. I don't know what that equates to, but American Samoa in height in inches. Well, it says average height in male is 5'10".
No, hang on. I got you.
The tallest people in the world by average is 6 foot in the Netherlands and Montenegro.
Let's see here. Boom. See. Somebody just put in here big.
I just saw that.
Okay, so maybe it was 5'10". Okay, so 5'10", but where's the height? I mean, the weight. Bum, ba-da-bum. Let's see here. Samoa average man. Boom, boom, boom. I need to see weight. I know I've seen this before. I wouldn't just pull random. And it keeps pulling Guatemala for some reason. The average weight of a Samoan. Okay, that's not true. Samoa. So they got a BMI of 30.2. I don't know. It's hard to find this thing when I really need it.
Of course.
You know? Like when you're on a podcast sitting here trying to find it. But statistics, the mighty Samoan. I know their obesity rates are high. But you know why their obesity rates are high?
Why is that?
Fun fact. And maybe this is a myth, but maybe it's not.
Oh,
so
God.
what I heard was that, and this was like a PhD talking, that Samoans developed a gene that no other person on the planet has.
I think you mentioned this.
Polynesians in general. And it's due to them being in boats for such long periods of time trying to find places to live that are inhabitable back in the day, that they developed a gene that stored fat easier so that they could survive longer at sea.
That makes sense.
Yep. So now 50% of Samoans today have that gene. It's worked its way out, but 50% of Samoans still have that gene. And when you only have so many Samoans in the world, on a small island, that raises their BMI per capita. And they're like some of the most obese people on the planet, but all those people from the Pacific Islands are.
Yeah.
Now, American Samoa specifically because it's been American-sized.
American-sized.
You
mean colonized?
No. Talk about American-sized.
Oh.
Fast food.
Oh. Okay.
Fast food.
Gotcha.
The Western diet. Where you got Western Samoa still pretty much tribal.
Yeah.
You know, fend off the land, eat pigs, sacrifice some shit, right?
Jeez.
So they're not as obese as American Samoa. And that's the same people.
Yeah.
Right?
Samoa and American Samoa should be the you should just look at the two islands and just be able to be like, oh yeah, American diet sucks.
Yes. Yes, very much so. Very much so. But yeah, man, and so you get the Star Kiss plan over there.
Oof.
So they have two main means of employment, and it's the government, and number one, and then Star Kiss, number two. And it's the largest Star Kiss plant in the world.
Huh.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Pretty cool, huh? Anyway,
you're learning about Samoa.
Yeah, and I'm super excited about it because I want to know the culture. I want to know kind of the mythology. And just like in anything, like whether I get obsessed with Roman culture or ancient Greece or whatever, I immediately go to the warriors and like the battlefield.
Okay.
So I'm learning about these Samoan civil wars.
Okay.
Back in the day, there's been 2 Samoan civil wars, and like just the way these chiefs interact with their warriors. And dude, I mean, these wars lasted for like 10 years.
Looking at their weapons, I don't know
Clubs?
Because I see axes, but I also see what I would assume would be like a blunt club with like jagged teeth on the other end.
I've got one of those.
This is scary shit.
I got one at my office. It's like a war club, battle club.
Yeah.
It's just made out of wood, but I swear on my life I was hit you in the head, I'd kill you.
Oh, 100%.
Just the way it's kind of shaped and the edges. And
Yes.
it's
You would
it's
die.
very flat, but very rigged.
Yeah, and you the points alone, not that you're stabbing
It's
somebody.
like a bully, like a club.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to blunt weapons like that, the edges are not to necessarily like cut you,
Yeah.
although they could be used as saws, multi-purpose weapons, not
Yeah.
a big deal. But like the point hitting you instead of the other end of it, which is more of just like a flat plane,
Yeah.
like if that were to hit you, it would break bone.
Yeah.
It's a small point of impact with all of the force behind it, just in a swing. Yeah, that shit would hurt.
Yep.
I've looked up Vietnam. It's funny that you say all of this about you talking, feeling about Samoa.
Yeah.
Because that's, for me, more of in a personal way. That's kind of what I've had to do as the white guy that I was, figuring out stuff about Vietnam. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on a 101-day streak on Duolingo learning Vietnamese.
Okay.
I'm not conversational yet, but I'm getting in there.
Yeah.
But I did the same thing. Like, I picked the things that I like about American culture, the food, which, let's be honest here, Vietnamese food, where it can go wrong. I mean,
right.
but like the mythology, the way people interact, the family structures. I just wanted to understand Vietnam. And so that's where I started. I started with just like, China's got like dragons and stuff, but what does Vietnam have? Like, what is something that is only in Vietnam because the Vietnamese people thought that it existed?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of those things, nor can I pronounce any of them yet.
Yeah.
But there's a few things, and obviously they do have dragons and blah, 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 blah. But then I started looking into festivals. What do they celebrate? Obviously, harvest seasons gets festivals, and New Year's gets a festival, blah, 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 blah. But in Vietnam, what do they celebrate traditionally?
Gotcha.
Because a lot of festivals nowadays in that part of the world will be because of, communism ended, or, communism started.
Yeah.
Like, Cambodia especially, like, I'm pretty sure they have a whole, like, celebration because the communist reign ended.
Gotcha.
Or something like that. But it's one of those things that it puts a lot of things in America in perspective because America is so young.
Uh-huh.
We've only been around for 200, 300 years.
Yep.
And
About
you've
to
got
implode.
yeah, but you've got these cultures that have been around for millennia.
Right.
People have been on the Asian continent for thousands and thousands of years
Yep.
before recorded history. And then you get even more, closer to the Middle East, even longer,
Right.
because that was the cradle of civilization for the longest of time.
Another thing about Samoa is that they have their own gods, right? They're
Yeah.
more like Egypt-based, kind of. Like this
Yeah,
person created
polytheistic, yeah.
This person created the water. This is the skies, the stars, all this.
Well,
stuff.
no, one guy did that.
Oh, yeah, shut up. So it wasn't until like the 1850s or 1890s, I'm getting that 5-ish 9 mixed up, that missionaries came to Samoa to open up churches, which now religion is a big deal over there.
Yeah.
But think about that. You're telling me that these people on this island didn't figure out that God was a thing until let's just call it 70.
1800s.
1870.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
1870.
And they've
Do you
been.
want to know what happened by 1870?
You know how long they've been on that island? Since 800 BC.
Yeah.
800 BC. So you're telling me for 3,600 years, these people had no clue about a God. And
If we're calling it 1870, the American Civil War had already happened. 1865.
yeah,
Like that. Fascinating.
yeah,
It's the same thing with Japan. Christian missionaries from Spain, Portugal, etc. didn't come to Japan until right around the 1800s, 1700s maybe at the earliest, and they were all killed because Japan was like, okay,
No.
if people are coming over with a religion then they're going to get a hold of the people.
Mm-hmm.
We can't have that.
Mm-hmm.
And so they murdered a lot. There's a great movie with Liam Neeson, Adam Driver, and Andrew Garfield in it. It's called Silence. It's a very, very good movie. And it's about a missionary who gets captured, is tortured, and then his 2 disciples, Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver, go after him and try and find out what happened. They also get captured, and it's just this long story of what it was like during that time.
Gotcha.
And it's just fascinating to me. Again, America, people, English and European people were here in the 1600s. If you're talking about the Vikings, even longer before that. But Japan was basically untouched for thousands of years, hundreds of years. And then now it's kind of a cultural hub for a lot of the world. A lot of things come out of Japan: culture, media, electronics, all of this stuff. And it's just fascinating to me. And then you hear like the it's not Easter Island. There's that one tribe that has been untouched for until today. Like it's like the UN literally said, don't go there.
Oh yeah, the ones that were shooting at planes and stuff.
Shooting at planes, they were firing arrows at planes.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And just like throwing spears up in the air
and
because they don't know what it is.
The one journalist went there and they killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me because those people have no idea.
Pretty sure that was a journalist that went there trying to grab penis sizes.
Are you serious? That would be hilarious.
I'm not serious. If not that story, that is a story.
I'm not surprised.
A guy going around an island getting penis sizes for whatever. What would that be?
Research. Not in a joking way, but like.
But what do you call that? Like
taking a census.
Yeah, I guess.
It's
just
funny.
Like height or weight. You know?
Yeah. It's funny that you say something like that, but like, it's also. It sounds so stupid. It's also like important for like, I don't know, paleontology. Would that be?
That's what I think. That's where I was going.
Like understanding where humans came from.
Sociology.
Yeah, something like that. But it's the study of humans and our history, and going there to figure out their average height, average body mass, just getting DNA from them would be 100%. Like it would move things forward a lot for us because those people have never intermingled with any other human race on the planet. They've been isolated for hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of years. I wouldn't go that far, but it would be important to get some blood from them to understand what their DNA looks like, and that's fascinating to me.
I think this group you're talking about is the Centennial.
Yes, Centennial Island.
Centennialese or something like that. Anyway, so if you type in, they're the people that popped up when you type in penis-sized reporter killed in island. Okay? All right. So, and I'm pretty sure that was a YouTube video I watched, so it might have been fake. Who knows? Anyways. All right, guys. Well, that was fun. Nice catch up. We got to get some more guests in here. Kind of just relax and recap and doing everything that we do right here, doing a little catch up on life. But we want to do Elvis. We might do Elvis this weekend or by next week and come in here and do a long Elvis review.
It's not just going to be an Elvis review. It's just going to be appreciating Elvis as a person.
That's right.
And his music.
The king, baby.
The king, baby.
And then that's it, man. So I know I've got several interviews lined up for the week of July 11th for some stuff I'm doing logistically. But yeah, working on some things I think you guys will be excited about, and we'll catch you in the next episode. So subscribe, Apple Podcasts, leave a review. Everything continues to go up. We'll keep monitoring it, but just keep coming along for the ride, and this thing is going to catch fire, and we'll see you on the other side. Peace. Bye.
Happy birthday, America.